What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rated Info Podcast, your new favorite video game podcast. It's Sunday, September 8th, and I'm your host, Drew Freeman. Rounding out today's fire team is Rory Wood.
What's up, everybody?
And Sean Messler.
What's up?
Well, hello, Sean.
The intro is literally the same until it gets to me every single time.
Well, you always laugh after I say mine for some reason, too, and then you throw me for the rest of the show.
Yeah. Start off our show like we do every single time. Every freaking time. No, I'm just kidding. We'll start off with what you're playing. Rory, what did you play this week?
I played a few things, but what dominated my hours over the week in just over a day and a half, no less, was Minecraft on Xbox One.
Oh, God.
It got its teeth into me. It got its teeth back into me. I played it on PS3, had the digital copy there, but never played online with people. It was always just like going into survival mode, solo, doing my thing. But the last day and a half, been playing with a bunch of people from the Unlocked crew, from the Rated M crew, and just having an absolute blast, building our little house that's turned into a massive castle in the wall, burying Lamb and Ewok, Neil in a giant pit, and building a cross as a memorial.
That's
Good
awesome.
times all around. So I'm going to be all over that till Destiny for sure.
So I was asking you before the show, was anybody streaming this? Is there any like video proof of this event happening? Because I think this sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, the memorial and the sign is still there. I'm not sure if CJ was streaming it or not. We'll have to check his archives after the show and see what's up.
Oh, apparently Bill says that you all mistreat each other in Minecraft. So apparently he got a stream from somebody somewhere. Either that or he's just spying on you.
He was playing with us.
Oh, was he playing with you guys?
Oh yeah, we had a big crew, man. We had 8 people at any given time, just
that is
like
awesome.
in there, and it's good times.
Very cool, very cool. All right, so anything else?
Now I'll leave it at that.
Everything just dominated, just Minecraft everything all day, every day.
I put more hours into that game in a day and a half, against every other game I played combined this week. So,
Very cool.
Yeah.
Rad. Sean, what'd you play this week, man?
I finished up the main story in Diablo. Now I'm on the Reaper of Souls part. And I just killed all the angels in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler. And now I'm going to fight Adria, I think it is, or Andrea, or I don't know. I don't pay attention to names.
Okay.
But I'm level 58.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's still fun. I had to turn the difficulty up because I was getting bored, because I was just literally running through every single enemy.
I've heard as much. And, that's it's something that I think they've done a better job with the difficulty and it not being like okay, you're this high enough level, now you need to put it up to this difficulty, which I feel like it kind of was before. Back in the day when Diablo 3 first came out, it was run through, now put it on Nightmare, now run through, now put it on Hell, now run through. And I feel like now you can kind of queue it up and down depending on how you feel, how hard enough you feel like playing the game. And if you really get a good build and you're I don't want to say the term rotation, but if you've got enough control over how you're going to attack mobs and handle groups of enemies and elites and stuff like that, you can crank it up. But if you're just kind of like lazily playing through, or if you're just looking for stuff or like farming, it's nice to be able to kind of move it up and down without really feeling like you're breaking the game. Cool. What else? Anything else?
Just more Final Fantasy on my Vita. That's my Final Fantasy is going to be until the end of that game. So, and I can only play like about an hour a day, and that game's about 100 hours long. So I'll be doing that for a long time. And yeah, just playing Diablo. I got to get it done, because Destiny's next week, and
So
I want to be able to.
That is exactly what I've been doing. Just cranking through Diablo, getting as much time in as I can, so that when I hop over to Destiny, I'm not like, oh man, I never got to finish that thing, or see Greater Rift or whatever. And I started a season last week, so I've been playing my seasonal hardcore with my buddy Alex, who somehow didn't play like. All right, so he's like a long-time Diablo player. Played the original Diablo, played Diablo 2, just hours and hours and hours of that. And then when Diablo 3 came out, he played like 20 minutes of it, or he played a couple hours, and he wasn't feeling it like a lot of people weren't, and he didn't pick it back up until literally this month, I think. So he's had to like relearn how the game works, and he never played through the story. So he had like, so spoilers, Cain dies in like the first act. He didn't even know, like and Cain is kind of a big character in the series, so he's like, how come nobody told me this? Like, how did this not happen? And so I've been enjoying like listening to him go through the game and learning things. Like, for some reason it skips the cutscenes for me, so I'm sitting here at the beginning of like Act 4, like listening to my friend just flip the fuck out watching the cutscene. It's pretty funny. So we powered through Act 2 and 3 today. As soon as I finish this, I want to see if I can get a hold of him again and finish Act 4, and then hopefully, if we're up until the wee hours, play Act 5. If not, finish that like tomorrow afternoon or something before we do the...
How many acts are there?
So Act 5 is Reaper of Souls content. So there's one act in Reaper of Souls, and then that's it. So there's 4 acts in Diablo 3 itself, and then Act 5 is Reaper of Souls. So I don't know if we'll be able to get through Act 5, but I think we'll at least be able to finish Diablo 3 proper and finish Act 4 tonight. And I'll be happy with that, just so he sees like the main story. And then yeah, it's all Destiny all day, every day, forever after that. Pretty excited. So yeah, that's what I'm up to. Played a little Halo. That's just a given. That will always be a given. Can't think of anything like too special or particular out of that Halo, so I think we'll just move on. So we got a bunch of news stuff going on here. I kind of broke this up. If you guys look at the document, we start off with releases. Some stuff actually released. We're getting into the fall almost. I mean, I guess it's kind of the fall, even though it was like 104 a couple days ago here. I don't know what's up with that. It's like, now that it's September, I guess summer decided it wanted to continue being summer. But The Sims 4 came out on PC. All right. So Minecraft came out on PS4 and Xbox One.
Yay!
All right. And then the obligatory boo. All right, cool. We're all here.
Out.
Yeah. Midnight, I thought it was interesting. Midnight City, that company that kind of does, it's Casey Lynch's company, does the indie stuff. They try to help do I think they're part of the whole Grim Fandango. Are they helping with that with PlayStation, or is PlayStation publishing that?
Couldn't tell you.
I can't remember. They're part of something. They're porting something. Shit, I can't remember. But one of the things that they're doing is Slender the Arrival is coming to PS3 and 360 on September 24th, which I brought that up just so that if anybody on previous gen consoles wants something spooky to play during October, there you go. Probably shouldn't be too much. I'm guessing like $15 maybe. I'm not sure. But Mortal Kombat got a release date announced. Did you guys see that?
I did, yeah. I'm hyped on that one personally.
April
Loving what
14th
I'm
or some
seeing of the
shit?
game.
Yeah, April 14th, day before taxes, right? Isn't that the right day? It's the day before tax day.
I do my taxes whenever I please because there's no real deadline and you don't owe anything.
And then people just shake your hand and say thank you. Fucking Canada. I think it's interesting that this is coming out on PS3 and 360 and PC along with the PS4 and Xbox One. Like, for some reason, I never thought about Mortal Kombat being a PC game. Has anybody ever played a fighting game on the PC? Anyone ever?
That would imply that I play games on the PC ever.
I'm sure people must, though, but I personally haven't. But I'm just getting into PC
I
stuff.
have never thought about playing a fighting game on the PC. I can't even, like... I know you can use, gamepads pretty easily these days with the PC, but seriously, I don't even... What? So, let's see. Sorry, it's like fucking people messaging me right now. Like, hey, I don't know. I do this every week. No big deal. So, also the Goro DLC I thought was interesting, though. If you pre-order the game, you get Goro. And I guess this is the first time he's been back on the MK scene for what? Like, I think it was like 7 years or something like that. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, it's tempting though for like an old school guy like me that was there when the first Mortal Kombat machine was like dropped in the arcade and loved the series early on. It's the second DLC in a little while that's actually made me like, I never pre-order stuff, but the Alien Isolation has made me go like, that game has to get a pre-order for me before it comes out so I can get that Ellen Ripley or whatever it was, the extra Hunt the Alien with the original cast DLC. And I want Goro, and it's a game I know I'm going to buy, so now I'm kind of, again, like, it's weird. I never go for this stuff, but it's been twice this year where I've seen DLC pre-order bonus stuff where I'm like, all right, yep.
Huh. Well, I'm curious to see if NetherRealm themselves are handling the PS3 360 version, or if they're going to have somebody else do it, or what do you think, Sean?
You're asking me to talk about
God damn it. All right. Anyways, moving on.
I don't think about ever.
Forget it. Never mind.
Sorry.
There were also some announcements.
You guys can continue. You can ask that question to Rory.
No, it's cool. We'll just leave you there hanging limp. Just no fun. Capcom announced Resident Evil Revelations 2.
Did
this
you
was
play
leaked
it,
at first.
one?
So no, I did follow that whole thing though when it came out, and let's see, this came out alongside Resident Evil 6 and Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, like the year that Capcom just decided to drill Resident Evil into the ground and bury it, and then see if it would come back like a zombie in Resident Evil fashion. What's funny is, so Resident Evil Revelations came out originally as a DS or 3DS. Was this
3DS?
3DS.
Was it a 3DS game? Okay. So it came out as a 3DS game, and of the 3 Resident Evil games that came out that year, which I also think there was also a movie that year, it was the best thing with the word Resident Evil written on it that came out that year, which is pretty sad, I guess, in a way, to see the handheld Nintendo version of the Resident Evil game do better than the like next numbered sequel. And then I don't know how you would describe Operation Raccoon City, just the action-packed side version or something. But yeah, then this came to 360 and PS3, I believe. I don't know if it came to PC. And now they're making a sequel of it. This is weird.
And which is now, it's not coming out for Nintendo consoles, I don't think.
Yes, it's coming to everything but Nintendo.
Shocker.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that the first game, though, came out first on Nintendo. So I thought, like, is there a 3DS version of the new game coming out, or is it purely skipping Nintendo?
No, it's a console.
This
game.
seems very familiar to me. Like when Resident Evil 4 came out on GameCube as an exclusive, and then all of a sudden it was everywhere, probably because the Nintendo version sold like shit. Even
I had it.
This is what they do. This is what Capcom's MO is. Oh wait, we released it on your little platform. It doesn't sell. It's almost like they throw a pity game. Here's a pity game for you, but we're really gonna release it on everything. Didn't the guy say he would kill himself if Resident Evil 4 ever came out on another platform?
He did say something like that, and then I think they came out a little bit later, and they were like, "Well, slight mistranslation there."
Jesus.
But yeah, that's cool. I want to play Revelations. I haven't. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. I you know what though? Like 5 turned me off so bad. I've had 6 forever and I haven't played it. And like, so I kind of want to get back into Resident Evil, but I don't know if I want to play. I don't have nostalgia for the way those games played. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm looking at it now. It was announced for PlayStation 4 and other platforms, and then later they confirmed PlayStation 3, Windows PC, Xbox 360, and Xbox One. And it says early 2015, which is a weird time for a Resident Evil game to come out. Just in my mind, I don't know. I don't know when they traditionally come out, but
is that from the Sony TGS thing?
It looks like it.
Then it's probably Biohazard. It's probably not coming out here yet.
Well, so I did see Biohazard Revelations 2 was announced, and it was part of the Japan that early. I think it was part of the one that happened really early in the day, the PlayStation Japanese.
Yeah, it was like 11 p.m. here.
But I think more was confirmed later. It says in a separate announcement, Capcom confirmed Resident Evil Revelations 2 would come to, PlayStation 3, PC, all that stuff. So yeah, I think initially the announcement was of Biohazard, And then they went ahead and confirmed all of the follow-up questions of like, wait, when you say Biohazard, you mean Resident Evil, right? Like, well, it is coming here, right?
In the beginning of the year, if it's not January, then that game is fucked.
Yeah, no, I could agree.
Because February is ridiculous.
I'm really curious though. So, you know, when this game was received pretty well on the 3DS, like people really liked it, and then it was ported to the 360 and PS3, and I think at that point everybody was like, "Wait, well, I mean, we liked your game, but we didn't really want it. Like, I don't know why you're giving."
I remember
us
it reviewing just overall not as well either. It wasn't even that people were just like
on the console version,
tepid on it. It like the reviews themselves for the console version were, I think, on average much lower than the 3DS.
So I guess what makes me curious about this then is, what is this going to look like? Like, this is coming to the first of all, it was announced for the PS4, so that's like, quote unquote, the lead platform. Let's just assume. How's it going to look? How's it going to play? How are you going to port a 3DS game to console and that not do very well, and then also say, oh, by the way, here's the sequel on a next-gen console and it looks not good? I'm assuming. Like, I'm really
sure
wondering
it'll
how
look
it's
better,
going to turn
but I'm sure it's going to be like every cross-gen game that kind of straddles that line where it's got a sheen on it. It doesn't look as good as it possibly could, but it still looks okay. Like,
yeah,
they're probably rebuilding it. The engine is probably scalable. They probably just upped it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, too, like, we don't know what this game's really gonna. I mean, it might look awesome, right? We all might want to play it.
Maybe.
Or
yeah.
it'll just
I don't
be more
remember
of
seeing
what we
any
saw.
like screenshots, or there's no trailer as far as I know. Well, I take that back. There is a trailer, but I think it's just like an announcement trailer. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to look, but I don't think I saw anything that was to the effect of like, man, go check out that trailer.
No, I don't
Resident
think so.
Evil looks great.
No, it was. You know what it was? It was the girl running slow motion through like that party. That was the.
The fucking weird thing. Yeah, I remember that.
I think that's what it was. And the crowd
the
went
live
from
action
living
thing?
to dead. Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. Okay, so one more of these what the fuck awkward announcement things. Get ready, guys. Sean, hold on to your hat. Put a hat on, and then hold on to it. Dead or Alive 5 is coming to PS4 and Xbox Uno.
You joke about it, but I'm excited about that. I really like that series, and I missed that last one, and so I'm kind of like, yeah.
I swear to God, only Canadians, because that is the dumbest, most pointless up-res yet.
I don't know,
but it looked so good on the 360
but
and
who
PS3.
cares? Like, when did that game come out?
Play it on the Xbox 3, and that game came out when?
2012, September 2012.
All I'm saying, if it's a good price and it looks good, I might get that. I'm a fighting game fan.
You are a gaming whore, is what you are. That is what you are.
You, sir, are a whore.
I like a lot of genres. Dead or Alive is one of my faves. Give me Dead or Alive, man. Give me Virtua Fighter. Give me Tekken. give it to me all, man. I'm wide open. I brought the lube.
Man, I don't even. I don't know why this is like. Even a Dead or Alive sequel would have hit me like a little weird, right? Like if I heard like Dead or Alive 6 is coming to Xbox One and PS4, I would be like, huh, weird. But what?
Who knows? Maybe it'll be $20 digital download. Did they say it's like a full release on disc?
Well, there was other stuff announced.
I don't see like any details there.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's not going to set the world on fire. But
I'm going to look at the source. Oh, the source is in Japanese. Never mind.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Everything's a blur.
Go on.
Did we talk about? We didn't talk about Sony's TGS show at all, right?
Not really. Not that I can think of, like specifically. Was there anything that you were thinking of though that you wanted to touch on?
I can't remember what we talked about last week. Really? Yeah. Did we talk about Saints Row?
We did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we talked about Persona 4.
No.
I mean Persona 5.
No. Well, we mentioned it. We did.
Okay,
that's
fine. That's fine. That's all I wanted to do.
Persona 5's coming to.
I listen to so many podcasts
PS4.
during the week that I forget what we talked about and what other people talked about.
It is a sickness. I do need to stop listening to so many podcasts. It does get me confused. All right. So a couple news pieces though to kind of chew through here. I wanted to blow through those announcements and things just so that people grabbed them. So again, more shit that you don't care about, but I think is interesting that when did they announce remote play? That was the day of the announcement, right? So what was that, like March of last year?
February.
Was it February of this year or last year?
February February
13.
before. Yeah, it hasn't even been a year.
Okay. So the one thing that got me about remote play, because I don't own any Sony products, but I like the idea of possibly being able to like grab a PlayStation TV or wait, no, it doesn't come off the TV. I don't know. I just like the idea of being able to play on something other than like a PSP or whatever. Is PlayStation Remote Play comes to mobile, and you could use your PlayStation 4 controller on like a tablet or your phone. It's obviously right now it's only Sony. I don't know if it's all Xperia, but the Sony line of tablets. So Sony Z3 line. The Z3, the Z3 Compact, and Z3 Tablet Compact, okay. They're all Xperia Sony tablets. And you can, there's this horrible little thing where you can strap it to your PS4 controller. But I like the idea of them moving this to mobile just for the sheer tech side of it. Like, to see your PlayStation 4 game like Destiny or something like that, and you just, set your tablet up in your bed and you're just sitting there playing next to it or whatever. I think that's pretty rad. So
that controller thing that you just sort of like turned your nose at, though, like while awkward looking, like that thing's ridiculously handy, right? Because the whole like remote play with PlayStation Vita is like you've got your sticks at least in your hand with the Vita and such, and you have your proper button control, but you don't have that on your phone. So now you can just be like pop and hold your controller and have like all that awesome input off your DS4.
If I threw a phone on it, I think it'd be okay. But holding a tablet up via this thing on my PlayStation 4 controller, I think would make my wrists just fall apart, because it'd be so damn heavy and be awkward. But it is cool. You're right. It is.
What they've shown in the picture is just that's the big phone, right? That's not even the tablet. That's just how big their fucking screens are on their phones now.
Maybe their phablet or whatever that looks like. Maybe
that's all it is. It's not like the size of like compact. An iPad. That's for sure.
Yeah, that might be like a 7-inch. Yeah, it could be a 7-inch screen.
But anyway, I can see the appeal of that little piece.
I
think
agree.
It's cool.
Yeah.
If you're a Sony fan, you like the phones, you don't want to plunk down for a PlayStation Vita because you're not really into the library. You like the remote play only. Now you've got your phone.
Or that DualShock 4 totally feels a lot better than playing on a Vita.
Yeah, you got it all set.
Okay.
Here we go.
As someone who uses remote play, the one benefit of this is using the controller over the rear touch for buttons.
Yeah.
But why would you need this when you can get PlayStation TV and just hook it up to a TV in your bedroom?
So I got to think that, and I want to hear some more firsthand accounts of like next time you go on a flight, Sean. Let me hear how remote play works via Wi-Fi or via remote location. Like stop into a Starbucks.
It doesn't work on a plane at all. But there's just way too much interference between you and the thing. I've heard accounts of people using remote play across town, across country. I tried it when I went home for Christmas last year to play Assassin's Creed 4. I could turn on my PlayStation, but I couldn't do anything beyond that. I had to have my girlfriend turn my PlayStation off because I could not even turn it off.
Weird.
But I just don't, I don't, like, this is, I mean, I just don't see the practicality of this unless you don't have another TV. Maybe that could, but this starts becoming incredibly niche.
Yeah, I would agree.
I would agree. That thing where it's like maybe you don't want to go to another
like
room just
case
a game.
scenarios.
Maybe you want to do both at sort of the same time, right? Like have your hockey game on in the background while you're just messing around with something on.
Well, yeah, and for parents, right? Like this is great for parents.
See, I don't think we should be encouraging that kind of behavior.
People watching hockey?
Well, no. I mean, people watching hockey while they're watching TV while they're playing a video game, or
why not?
Just like,
if you're playing something casual, like
every kid's gonna come out like Children of the Damned, ADD, fucking blonde hair, blue eyes, killing everybody with their brain.
Oh, it's too late for them
overstimulated.
Anyway.
Oh man, you're starting to, Sean. We need to take you to a doctor, man. You're starting to sound old as fuck.
I'm not old.
Better
It's
just
fucking,
sit him
it's
down in the
annoying.
rocket, boy.
It's annoying. It's like the people that go to the fucking movie theater to talk on their goddamn cell phones. I want to murder them.
Well, no, that's a little different. When you're at home by yourself in your living room, minding your own business, you know, it's a lot different than somebody pulling out their phone and talking in a movie theater when 300 other people are trying to enjoy something. That's not, yeah.
What about, okay, then.
Yeah, but I mean, like, all right, so parents, right? Parents. Like, you want to play your fucking PlayStation 4, you want it on your big-ass nice tablet instead of on your Vita, you can do that. While you're sitting on the couch, while your kid's watching something on the TV.
Don't get me wrong. I think the tech is cool. I've used it for the Vita. It's awesome. I just don't see the practicality of this to a wide market.
No, and I would agree. Like, I don't think this is going to be like a huge selling item. I think that's I think we've talked about this a little bit. That's the thing with Sony. They have so many ancillary things that they sell. None of them are going to be like some killer app.
No, it's all
but
just
they build their
extras.
ecosystem and then they throw their ecosystem at you, right?
Exactly.
Well, no, that's true.
Sony's the way Sony's going with like their PlayStation Now and all this like remote play as well. Like,
it's just options.
People
it's
talk
options,
about these
right?
companies turning into more of like providers in a way, right? Like service providers, and like one day there won't really be a PlayStation box. You know, it'll all just be like on your devices. You got your controller, like you say, with your smart TV.
You'll have it no matter where you are. Right. I think that's a good plan. We'll see. I just think it's interesting that this actually, I didn't expect seeing Remote Play or PlayStation Now going anywhere near mobile for another like year or so. I just felt like that was something that was like, we're going to do this eventually. But it came a lot quicker than I expected. The next news piece is Microsoft's thrown I don't really want to say a Hail Mary, but like, they're doing a pretty big deal next week. So from the 7th to the 13th of September. So if you're listening after this, whoops. Xbox One will be available with a free game from, let's see, we look like Destiny, Titanfall, Diablo 3, Watch Dogs.
It's any game.
So it is any? Okay. They call
game.
out a few, but I didn't know if it was for sure like all.
Well, they're showing the bigger sellers, but any game.
Okay. So the way you do this is you walk into it, because I saw people like they were really confused about whether like how they redeem this or how this works. Just go to GameStop or any quote participating retailer. So when you go in and you want to buy your Xbox, or you want to trade in your Xbox 360 or whatever, make sure they do this before you start ringing shit up. And buy your Xbox. Get the one with the Forza on it. So you get Forza and say, oh, by the way, let me get Destiny for free, and they have to do that. And there you go, free Destiny. Get your Xbox One. Get your current gen system, or whatever game you want. Rise, I guess, if you want that for free. I still think you're getting.
I hope so.
Bad deal out of that situation.
I want to go to the mall at the store every day, and if anybody does that deal with Rise, I'm gonna slap them in the back of the head.
Just hit it out of their hand and be like, no,
just smack them in the back of the head. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?
But this is a pretty good deal.
It's a great deal. The fact that it's some of those bundles allow you to take advantage of it as well is pretty great.
Yeah, I'm really, when I saw this, I was like, well, fuck, like everyone's got to get this now, right? Like this is going to be your opportunity to get a real large chunk of people to go from previous gen to current gen. I'm really curious to see how this does for sales. Should be a shot in the arm, and I'm hoping that it gets some momentum, because October, even though it's a huge, just a huge month for games releases, even though it's not nearly as bad as we originally saw it to be earlier this year, I wonder how October is going to work out, because this is a huge month for having such a big tentpole game coming out in Destiny. But then in October you have, I guess, Skylanders, right? Skylanders comes out in October. That's a pretty big title as far as sales numbers. But they're going to have to try to keep this momentum going through October into like Black Friday and all that stuff in November. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this works out. Anybody know? Have you guys? Do you have any anecdotes of anybody who's like aware of this outside of, the games circles? Has anybody heard about this?
No, I was just gonna ask, like, because I don't even have cable, so I was like, I don't see commercials for this stuff. So I was kind of wanted to throw the question out to the audience and you guys too, just whether or not this deal is getting like pumped out on TV. Like everybody's been telling me all weekend that Sony's just been killing like all the football games with like Destiny ad after Destiny ad after Destiny ad. And I've been curious if Microsoft's been putting up any sort of like marketing face-off against that.
Well, for the Destiny ad specifically, I guess we could speak to that. What was that, yesterday? The Destiny fragrance ad that they ran. That was,
I saw that.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
They pulled that, by the way, if anybody didn't notice. I thought that was funny.
I did not.
Yeah, they ended up
pulled
pulling
it the same day.
Yeah, they pulled it like a few hours later.
That's the thing. Like, okay, so they won't be able to advertise. They'll advertise this deal if they want to spend the money on running a week-long ad. I don't think they will.
No.
I think this is something you manage through internet because it's low cost.
Yeah.
To buy an ad space for primetime or any important television show. So I don't think it's going to be on TV or anything like that. But the thing is with that Destiny ad, I thought it was smart. I thought it was funny. I thought it was really well designed. Like, I was just impressed with the slickness of how that worked on the website. But people were saying, "Oh, they found a loophole." I'm like, "Well, they didn't find a loophole. They're doing something they shouldn't be doing." But and then, sure enough, people doubted me like always. And then, sure enough, hours later, it got pulled down. Probably because they got a fucking nasty phone call from probably Activision. Sony probably called Activision.
No, I'm
Activision
sure.
probably called them, and they brought it down. And now they have the thing. Well, there's some good deals next week. Check out your retailer. But the thing is, now it's done. I mean, they
because
took the
people
ad down. That's
have
great.
already talked about it, right?
Yeah. So now it's already on the internet, and that's where I feel like if Sony wants a lawsuit, they have one. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, but it's it'd be such a waste of money and time for them over this. You know what I mean?
To sue them for breaching a contract of sales for a game that they paid money for exclusive advertising rights to.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it'd be a waste of money, dude. I think they could probably get a decent chunk of change for that. But the thing is, I don't get Microsoft's I mean, I understand why they did it. I understand they have Destiny coming out on their platform as well, and they don't have a bundle for it, and they probably would have had a bundle for it. I don't know what the deal was and how that worked out, but now they technically have a bundle for it. So say they sell 1 million Xbox Ones that week with Destiny, that's awesome. It did its job. But I still feel like, me personally, that's kind of shitty. You know what I mean? Like, everyone was defending Microsoft because of the third-party exclusives and how exclusives happen and all this shit. Well, and everyone's talking about, well, they have the money, they can go and do this stuff. Yeah, that's great, but Sony paid money to pay for exclusive ads. I would feel shit, and I'm just for the record, I would say the same thing if it was Sony did this to Microsoft, like if they did it with Call of Duty.
It's on a little bit different of a level though too, where it's like the game isn't a third party exclusive, right? It's not,
but they paid for those rights.
They totally
to advertise it.
They totally did. But I've never seen anything where it's like you can't quite say it's even on like Xbox platforms. Like usually like the Microsoft when they do it as well, and Sony vice versa too in the past, like one of them's advertised sort of as like the lead platform in a way, and you would even see like the cases at the end of the commercial like stacked behind the lead platform, or like the Microsoft ones end with Call of Duty, but you would still see like ads and other pieces. Microsoft's like 100% cut off from like saying, hey, the game is on our console too. Like I don't think I've quite seen that before, but I could be wrong.
But the problem is that Sony is paying.
That's
for
how it was with
Sony
Diablo.
is advertising it. You know what I mean?
Remember,
Sony is advertising the game. They're paying their own money to market a game. Why would they show that it's on another platform?
That's how it was.
I get that.
That's how it was with Diablo, wasn't it, Rory? Remember, there was like confusion as to whether or not it was even going to come to the Xbox One for a while, because no one said outright Diablo 3 releases on the Xbox One on this day. Like they couldn't get the release date. Like we all just kind of assumed that it was going to be on the Xbox One on the same day, but it took forever for us to get confirmation. That was part of this marketing thing.
Yeah,
Anyways,
but once the advertisements were out, it was clear, right?
It took a while. It was like almost a month or two before the game came out on the original, not this Ultimate Evil edition, the original. I'm thinking about the 360 version. Anyways, I had a question for Sean and for Rory about what we think about this Destiny specifically marketing deal post-launch. Is it going to continue? I know we don't know details, and I don't think we have like fucking legal guys in front of us, but do you think it's going to continue on for the duration of the franchise, for the duration of this title, for this platform? Like what do you think this is going to do?
Well, how many ads have you seen for Xbox? How many ads for Call of Duty have you seen with PlayStation thrown up at the end of it?
Yeah, no, I understand that, but do you think that this deal goes for the whole franchise? Okay.
No, I mean, I don't know about that, but they probably have to renew that contract every game
per title.
But for the duration of this game, I do think that's the way it's going to be. That's what they're paying for. That's what Microsoft pays for Call of Duty. That's what, now that, there's other games, Assassin's Creed. I saw a million Assassin's Creed ads when, for some reason, I saw them a lot during E3 while I was watching Hulu, and the Xbox One was at the end of every single one of them for Assassin's Creed Unity.
Yeah, I guess it's been happening more often than I realized. It's just, I just haven't noticed it so much. It hasn't quite been like, whoa, like, maybe it's because this is a brand new IP and it's launching for the first time. And, I've just heard, out and about that some people just still in the greater, peripheral sort of everything that we know that are unaware that it's like, it's coming out on Xbox 360, it's coming out on Xbox One. And I guess it is just because it's a new IP. It's such a huge launch. So I'm sort of forgetting about things that I've become used to in a sense with the Call of Duty.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, and here's the thing. The reality of it is, I don't think the casual market cares about Destiny. Like, as much as I think the game's going to be good, I don't think it's going to be Call of Duty huge.
No, but people are talking about it. Like my girlfriend's brother last night at dinner, like he's not a gamer really at all, and he was just like, "Hey Rory, have you heard of this Destiny game?" And I just kind of laughed because I'm like, "Wow, what? Of course!" But people that aren't into gaming,
I would agree, but I think that's indicative of it being a new IP. I think they're as interested as you can get someone interested by saying the words Halo and Call of Duty after a title, right? Like saying like, "Hey, this is Destiny from the guys who made Halo and Call of Duty." Then they go like, "Oh shit, that's crazy." But yeah, I think their interest is about as peaked as it's going to be. It's Destiny 2 that they will get interested in, and that's how Halo worked, and that's how Modern Warfare 2 worked.
That's my point about these advertising things. It's just to get to mind share. You know what I mean? Like
of the gamers, right? Of the people who really are aware of this stuff.
Well, yeah, and just in general, like, oh, I got this game Destiny on the PS4, and then his friend goes, "Oh, okay, I'll pick it up." You know what I mean? Like that's how that goes. That's what they're getting. That's what they're paying for. That's what they're banking on. So I mean, it's not like Call of Duty sold poorly on PS3 because they never saw the PS3 ad at the end of the Call of Duty ads. You know what I mean? So I don't think that's what gets. But
it's also that's a series that's been running for an extremely long time. So by now everybody knows that it's everywhere, as opposed to but even being like first time out.
But even Call of Duty 4, like Call of Duty was a niche title before Call of Duty 4 came out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that game debuted on Microsoft stage at E3. They didn't show, so they've always had a pretty close relationship with Microsoft in terms of
this is also what I think is interesting about this. With Activision having such a buy-in right now so they have Diablo going on the PlayStation, and I think that might be done as far as them pushing Diablo. Like, I don't know how much post-launch support Ultimate Evil Edition itself is going to get, but
I don't think that was a necessarily a marketing thing as much as it was when you were talking. Like, it was marketing, yes. Anytime you see an interview or something in a magazine, that's all part of the marketing that they do for it. But what I'm saying is that I don't think it was like quite in the same scope that they had planned for Destiny.
What I was getting at though is like, so you have Destiny, right? You have Activision's baby Destiny. That's their new thing that's going to keep them from having too much fallout if if Call of Duty starts to wane, they can push harder on this new title, which is a teen rated title. So potentially you could sell it to more people, and so you have Destiny, you have Diablo, and then awkwardly you have a deal going with the other side with Call of Duty. Do you see Activision? I mean, obviously they win, right? They just win completely because they have both sides, advertising for them. But do you see them making a play and saying like, okay, Call of Duty is going to be a PlayStation title on this waning years, and so we're going to line all up on one side? Or do you think that this is where they want to be, on kind of straddle across both lines, so to speak?
Roy?
Oh, sorry, I'm responding to something in the Twitch chat. Were you talking directly to me?
So no, I was just saying. All right, so think about this. So you have Activision, in bed with Xbox for Call of Duty. You have Activision in bed with PlayStation for Destiny, and then you also have this Diablo thing going on the PlayStation. And I would imagine Skylanders might be marketed a little more as an Xbox thing than it would be a PlayStation thing, but. Either way, do you see Activision continuing to try to stay on, pushing horses on both sides, or do you think that they would pick a side, so to speak?
Well, I think whatever is going to be successful for them, they want to bring in the money, right? And if what's working for them now is going to continue to work for them for a little bit, I don't see why they would change up. If everybody's okay with the deals that are happening at the long run, like if Microsoft's fine not getting the Destiny thing in the future as well, but they get to keep the Call of Duty thing, maybe they get the next IP.
And that brings me back to my original point, is that they paid, Activision was clearly trying to straddle the line,
right?
And Microsoft went and fucking did something that broke that. I mean, that's shitty. Like, I know there's a lot of Xbox fans, but that's shitty. Like, you don't do that. That's not good business. Like,
I think it's if they had made it a bigger thing, I think it would have been shittier. But I think because they kind of did that, I don't think they planned on really trying to push that any further than they did. But
I know, but it's but see, that's the thing. Like, why? Like, it's just a lesser of two evils. It's still a broken contract. Sony never did that. Sony has never said, never. Like I said, like it sucks because I'm like, objectively it was really clever and very smart. But then when I start looking at it like even further objectively, they have a contract. They violated the contract. If X violates the contract of Y, and that's bad. Like you don't do that. That's not good business. I got you. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like, so I don't know if this play. Somebody asked in the chat, does this mess with Microsoft's Activision's relationship with Microsoft?
We'll have to see, but I really doubt it.
But I don't think. But to expand on what Rory is saying, I don't see why they would change anything. I mean, the reality is the Xbox One is being outsold by the PlayStation, but they're still continuing their relationship regarding Call of Duty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't see them. I don't see them picking a side, so to speak.
Yeah,
I'd be very curious too if somebody I know these are big corporations and they kind of did something they shouldn't have done there, but maybe it's just because I've got that bit of a dreamer in me. But part of me is still thinking that even with what they did, it was sort of like behind closed doors, amongst who needed to talk about it. Just like, guys, you know better. That was good, but you know better. Well, and they kind of just slap the wrist a little bit and say, don't do it again. Don't do it again.
Yeah, that's what I would agree. I would probably see it as like a slap on the wrist of them saying like, look, if you do this, or if this is, we could easily just turn around and start saying like, hey guys, Call of Duty gets we're going all out on the PlayStation, and here's how we're doing this, and blah blah blah. Like, it could be just as easy for them to turn around on them, but I just don't see that. I see them maybe saying hey, you owe us a little money or something like that, and Microsoft being like, all right, fine, whatever.
Absolutely, it'll be settled out of court. But
yeah,
something will happen with this. It's not going to be a slap on the wrist.
Anyways.
In terms of how Sony.
I think it'll be a round of meat lover pizza, and then it'll all be good.
Anyways, moving on. One last thing about deals and Destiny and stuff. Right now, if you buy Destiny digitally on the PlayStation Store or the Xbox Game Store, or if you buy the expansion pass digitally on the Xbox or PlayStation Store, you can upgrade to a copy of Destiny on the Xbox One or PS4 in between now and, well, tomorrow and January 15th, 2015. So that's pretty fucking rad. You get a free copy. You get to kind of upgrade for free. I'm curious what that means for your previous copy, though. I'm going to have to look here. I don't think you lose your previous copy.
It's for physical and digital, right?
No, it's digital only.
Oh, well,
only.
I
Yeah.
could...
So maybe you lose the rights to your
I could see
digital
it not working. I
game.
can see the digital right coming away.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe. Okay, so the upshot is if you buy a digital version of Destiny on PS3 when it launches next week and get a PS4 this holiday season, you can keep playing your Guardian on your new console. Yeah, that's true. If people didn't realize, everything you do on your PS3 or PS4 version of Destiny transfers back and forth. It doesn't transfer across consoles to like Xbox or PlayStation, but if you have like a PS3 copy and your friend has a PS4, you can go play the same Guardian with all your shit, all your experience, all your loot, and all that stuff on that copy as well, just so that people know. But you can keep playing your Guardian on your new console in January after you download your free PS4 copy of the game. Then you can hand down your PS3 to your sister, and she can create a version of her own Guardian. So they make it seem, so this is from Polygon, so they're making it sound like the PS3 copy that you purchased originally continues to exist.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Which would be nuts. I would actually consider doing this simply because, like, I already have an Xbox One. I already have an Xbox One copy coming, like Tuesday night or Tuesday. I'm gonna come home after going and doing launch stuff with a friend and pop it in, download it to my Xbox One, and all of the progress that I made on my character on my friend's 360 when we play it together will just pop up on my Xbox One. So if I wanted to, I could hypothetically get a free digital copy of the Xbox One because I played it on 360. Like, how does this work?
But yeah, you're getting 2 copies of the game for the price of one, really. Just one on previous gen, one now.
I don't know. So I look forward to hearing how that stuff works with people. I want to see, proof of this paying off. And I wanted to comment on the fact that this running until January 15th is very fucking cool. That gives some people some time to scrape together some dough if this is something that they wanted to make happen.
After Christmas, man. Christmas, when everyone gets
all that money, right?
Next gen consoles.
Well, yeah, you get all your Best Buy cards and stuff from your grandpa and shit. So on Christmas Day, you're like, oh sweet, I can go buy an Xbox One tomorrow. So I think that's pretty rad. And I think it's something to point out to people. Apparently, so say you get the physical copy, right? And then you buy the digital expansion on your Xbox 360. Apparently that qualifies you. So now you can keep your physical copy and your digital expansion on your 360, but it gets you a free copy of Xbox One version of Destiny if you upgrade in the allotted amount of time. So really interesting. I'm actually really tempted to just buy this copy, like a digital copy of Destiny in between now and then on my 360.
You know what
to
that
see
means
if I
to
can
me?
get a free
You know what
copy.
that says to me?
What does that say to you,
me
Sean? Yeah.
That there will be DLC very soon.
Oh no, we already know there
cool.
is. We already know there is. They've already announced it. There's
a date.
Yes, maybe. Hold on. Yes, Destiny's first expansion, The Dark Below, is set to release in December.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So much stuff to play.
Yeah, I was gonna play. December was gonna be my fucking catch-up month.
Well, December is gonna be my Halo 5 beta month. Fuck. Yeah. How the hell is that? Although that's later in the month, so. All right, so that was the last.
If they released it the same day.
Damn. That's okay. The Halo 5 beta has a time limit on it. The Destiny expansion does not. All right, so the last piece of news I wanted to talk about is going to kind of cue us into our topic of the week. Samsung has partnered with, just hear me out on this. Samsung has partnered with the Oculus to make, hold on, how are they wording this? They partnered with Oculus to make a virtual reality headset powered by the Samsung Galaxy Note 4. Samsung Galaxy Note is a phablet. For people who don't know, it's smaller than an iPad, but it's bigger than a phone. So it's like one of those big stupid phones that if you saw somebody putting it up to their ear, you would just laugh and call them retarded. Well, now you can laugh and call them retarded because they're going to wear it on their face using Oculus Rift APK or whatever you want to call it. So this is Gear VR is what Samsung's calling it. This is Samsung Gear VR. What the fuck is going on? Like, why is this happening? I could totally see why Oculus would take the money from Samsung to be like, hey, can we use this stuff, and we want to do this VR shit. You can watch Oculus Cinema, so you can basically sit in a virtual reality theater and watch Pacific Rim, and I don't know, this is fucking weird. So Rory, you checked it out after I linked you the story. What's your take on this, man?
Yeah, I had a little look at it. There's still so little information about it. Like,
this isn't coming out till like next year
come
anyways.
Out. Well, the beta version's launching later this year, right? Like the early access version.
Okay,
so people are going to be able to get their hands on it
for developers and enthusiasts.
I mean, it looked like a slick kit in the sense that like it's stylish. The phone pops in and it looks just like a nicer Oculus almost, but it's going to be less powerful. It's not going to run on quite the same stuff. Obviously, it's just just using your phone as a display. But I need to see more. Like, I don't know if it has its own power source so that I can like use that anywhere outside of like next to my computer.
The Galaxy Note 4.
Phone?
The Galaxy Note 4 is the power source.
So that's the battery to like. So now it's like, okay, well, that's just gonna like suck the battery out of that thing unless I've got my phone plugged in too.
Right?
And I know it's this, the same thing with the Oculus. At the end of the day, like you're having the thing plugged into your computer, or Morpheus will be plugged into your PlayStation most likely. I need to know more. I'm excited about VR technology though. I have yet to have a chance to try it myself. As far as Oculus and Morpheus goes, I'd like to, but I'm definitely interested in watching what Samsung's doing. But it's not going to be my gaming thing.
See, that's the thing here. I don't think any of this is even geared towards gaming. It's really weird. I think this is where we start seeing stuff that we're interested in because, as gamers, we're familiar with the term Oculus. This is, we kind of like identify with what's going on with wearable VR because this birthed in games with, harkening back to Virtual Boy, and we see it now today with Oculus and Sony's throwing in. But we're starting to see this is a perfect example of like Samsung is not looking at this to be like, yeah, we're gonna make this thing and then maybe Microsoft will want it, or I don't know. Like they're looking at this as just another thing for them to throw out there with mobile wearable tech.
Totally. Well, that's the thing with Facebook said. Like, they're less interested in it really in the grand scheme of things. They're not that interested in the gaming side as much.
Yeah.
Well, they're looking at, like, the little things, and they used examples of, like, imagine going onto Facebook, and now instead of just looking at your friends' pictures, like, you're there in this virtual space with your friends on Facebook wearing, the Facebook VR.
Oh, yeah, I remember them talking
and they're
about
looking
that,
at, and, like, the theater thing that you're talking about as well. And, like, they're looking at the much bigger picture instead of just that focused gaming peripheral thing.
So our topic of the week is going to be just VR as a medium and VR gaming VR in general. I just wanted to kind of get your guys' take on it, and I want to discuss different ways that this could work, I guess. So right now we have two horses, right? We have the Oculus Rift and we have Sony's Project Morpheus, which they alluded to at Gamescom, the most recent time they had a chance to talk about it. Although, I don't know, did they even mention it for TGS? I don't think that's the right place to even bring it up. Sean, do you remember?
No, but it was probably on display.
I think we lost Sean. Oh, okay, Sean's all right.
No, I'm here. What was the question?
Did Sony even mention the Morpheus at TGS, or do we?
Yeah, they mentioned it, but it wasn't like, it wasn't.
Was it just like at Gamescom where they were like, oh, by the way, this is a thing?
I mean, I didn't watch it live. I just kind of followed the meltdown on NeoGAF because they were posting literally every second.
Mm-hmm.
And so I heard them. I remember seeing one or two posts about Morpheus, and then they moved on to other things to complain about. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think it was a showcased segment on the show.
So we have these two though, right? And I really don't think the Samsung Gear thing is going to be part of like the gaming conversation. I just wanted to bring it up because I thought it was fucking weird. But I don't see these. So me personally, I don't see these being like the next Rock Band guitar or Wiimote or Kinect Sensor or whatever. Like I don't see these taking over marketing push and like all of a sudden we're gonna see what's his name, dude from Lionhead. He left Lionhead, but
Peter Molyneux.
We're not gonna see Peter Molyneux out there with the Xbox version of the faceplate on, going like, okay, no, really, this time, guys, seriously.
But you've highlighted a big reason why not, though, too, is all those other things are designed to bring people together in a social space while you play your games. Whereas I see the Oculus and the Morpheus as something that's much more isolating in a sense. Like I'm not going to sit in the living room with my friends and we're all going to have these VR helmets on. It's going to be a much more niche experience, one that where like I want to play, Project Cars like by myself in my living room. I'm going to pop that thing on and have that insane realism and the depth of field and the whole head tracking, or like a TIE fighter game. I think there's going to be a place for it. I'm definitely somebody that's interested in. I'm probably going to jump in when like Morpheus and Oculus like come out proper. But it's going to be for very specific titles. It's not going to be like every game I want to play like this, and it's definitely not going to be for those like come over and socialize sort of events like the Kinect and the Move and all that stuff as well.
So I think it's interesting that you pointed out that it's an isolating thing, and I think ultimately it is at its core, but I think the way people are going to try to market this and implement it is a way to bring people together from long distances. They already have a Oculus Rift game where basically using a camera, it scans so there's two people who have Oculus Rifts on, and you can look down and look around at yourself and you see what that person would see if they looked down at themselves. And so it's this like creepy, pervy, weird thing where you got a guy and a girl and they're both wearing the Oculus Rift and they can look down and like an in-game in this simulation like use their hands to look around and grab and grope and do whatever. It's fucking weird. it's
very weird, but that's the thing. I think that's what's going to keep it. It's much weirder than standing there playing some plastic instruments with your friends.
No, I would agree. It's definitely not going to hit critical mass like that. No,
but again, like just for those like focused games that are built around it, single player stuff, like I would love to play something like PT. The playable.
It's going to be huge in horror if they do it right. Alien Isolation would be
even
a whole lot of
Skyrim.
fun.
I know people have played Skyrim with it already on the PC. And again, if like a TIE fighter game came out, and man, I don't know. It makes me feel. I just get really excited about that. Again, not for everything, but I want that immersion for sure.
So VR stuff always makes me think of like the crazy Hollywood imaginings of VR. I keep thinking of Lawnmower Man.
Guilty pleasure.
I keep thinking of Surrogates. That whole situation where you had all these people in this world and they were like controlling other actual people or whatever, but the VR, like they could see and sense and hear and smell everything that their avatars were doing. Like all of these directions that are like extreme versions of what Hollywood thinks, VR could go like. I think developers are probably going to use some of those things as inspirations to be like, okay, well, not, in this extreme case, but why don't we do something to the effect of this movie that we saw, this idea, why don't we take this idea and make it in a more practical sense and see how that works, using VR to, for training simulations of how to ride a motorcycle. You know what I mean? Like you get on one of those motorcycle things that are like feel like you're gonna fall off of them whenever you're at a Dave and Buster's, and you strap one of those things on. Now you really feel like you're leaning in a motorcycle, and you're like, you play some Road Rash with that shit. And you're like swinging around, swinging at the guy next to you.
But there's all kinds of things that can open up to. Again, these would be games probably not for everybody. But once the technology is at like a reasonable price, you could design games in a way, and I'm just spitballing here, but you play it for the most part like without the Oculus on your head, right? And you play the game with the controller, you're looking at the TV, and then maybe the character in the game is some crazy scientist and he's experimenting with some stuff in the game, and in the moments where he's in his lab and he puts on his VR, you put on like, or he puts on whatever it is in the game, but you put on your VR helmet. Now you're transported to like that insane world and seeing things in a way more psychedelic 3D landscape as opposed to like the 2D vision that you're looking at the screen. There's just all kinds of crazy stuff that could be used with that.
But see, I think the ideas that we have, and not to say like, oh, we're not developers, but I think the ideas that we have are like more pedestrian, obvious applications. I'm really interested to see what comes of somebody putting a good amount of money behind a Project Morpheus game. Like, I'm really interested to see if Sony will actually put the money in time, like, because they do this with all their side stuff, right? They do this at least once when they debut something like the Vita or the Move or the iToy. Well, maybe not the iToy, but when they do all of this other stuff, the Wonder Book, they put a lot of attention and a lot of money towards it and see how it goes, and then they stop paying attention to that. They go back to making great games on their main platform. I'm really curious what their like marquee thing is going to be. And let me pop this idea in your head, Sean, and I want to hear your response. What if the next game from, God damn it, just went blank. People who made Heavy Rain.
Ninja Theory? Oh, no, sorry.
Quantic Dream.
What if the next
Yes.
Quantic Dream game was built around Project Morpheus? I could see him liking that idea. Would that sell it? Would that be a good match? What do you think about that, Sean?
It wouldn't sell to me. I'm not going to buy an extra expensive piece of hardware just to play a game. But I'm sure somebody would buy that. I'm not the target market for this kind of stuff. I don't have these fantasies of playing virtual reality games. If it was something that I got for super cheap, sure, but it's not something I would spend $200 on. So, I mean, it's a peripheral. It's the Move. It's anything to me. It's just another peripheral.
So, another report came out this week that the Oculus Rift could or should be selling for about $200 to $300. That's way less than what we originally thought it was going to be. In fact, that's way less than what I would imagine it should sell for.
That's about what I thought it was going to sell for.
That's definitely what it should. I mean, that's a great price. That's a fantastic price because this thing is not cheap. It's not a Kinect. You know what I mean? It's not like that's. Even the Kinect is overpriced for what it is, but even that is like some crazy tech you have in that little box. This thing is way beyond that. And at least how much money has been put into R&D and everything. Like, if they do sell it for that, in my mind, that speaks to a far longer tail and a far higher attachment rate expectation than what we're kind of talking about right now. Because if they sell it for $200 to $300, I think they expect to continue to sell this thing long enough to make their money back, right? Because otherwise they should sell it for a much higher price to try to get their money back faster. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting. That price point is way less than what I expected.
So they're probably getting good support from people too, right? Like I brought up Project Cars earlier, but they're not the only one. There's a lot of games that are in development, and there's only going to be more that are looking at the technology and going, you know what? We can adapt our engine to run on that, and we can create, the proper user experience. Again, I think racing games are going to be incredible for it.
Absolutely.
But I think they're probably seeing the support already from devs working on stuff. Now we just have to wait and see if there's going to be some really intuitive must-play titles that are only experienced the way they can be with the Oculus Rift or Morpheus.
I have a question. What about how the Kinect integrates with Morpheus, with Oculus, with these types of things, how cameras integrate with these VR headsets? Do you see this probably being built into future titles as like an extra thing that you could do? I think about the head tracking in Forza, you can look around, you can kind of turn your head a little bit in Forza, and it will turn the camera enough for you to kind of look up in the rearview mirror or glance over your shoulder to see if, you know, you have a guy on your left or right or whatever, like to kind of get some more situational awareness, and it gives you a sense of immersion into the game, or at least that's what it's supposed to do. I mean, for me,
which sorry, were you talking about the Kinect in Forza?
Forza does. Forza has this like head tracking thing. So
I've never
magnify that by using Morpheus and having your Kinect on and being able to like look around the cabin, look down at your hands while you shift, like all this stuff.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why that's exciting for me.
But do you see developers building that into a game like Forza, where Forza is not going to require a headset, I don't think, anytime soon, because, you know, even requiring Kinect for Forza would be a stretch too far for them. But do you see developers spending that extra time and money to integrate something like that into games as like an extra thing, just like they integrated shouting at your Kinect for Skyrim and Mass Effect and stuff like that? Or do you think that's not going to be a thing? What do you think, Rory?
I don't know. As not being a developer, I'm not sure how hard it is to actually just like adapt that, or if you really need to, because the model's there, right? We're in the 3D space, so the model's there. So I'm just kind of wondering, is it really that difficult just to map a new camera in a sense? Because that's what they're doing a lot of the time, right? As long as they build the player model. Like in Forza, I can already look out the left in my window and see that there's glass there, and I can kind of glance, you know, around a little bit in the dash. And other games allow you to do that. So without being a dev, I'm not sure. Like, if it doesn't take that much effort, I say why not give the choice, especially if the hardware is out there. But if they have to do all kinds of crazy new programming from like the ground up for it, then I could see it being a problem. But I don't know. For me, I look at it just as if it's a new camera. They've just got to program a new camera in their systems. But if there's any devs out there, programmers, you can let me know how wrong I am on the subject.
Just a second. So one last question. I want to hear what you had to say, Sean, real quick. But I had one last question about just games and devs and VR. But go ahead, Sean.
I was just going to say, like, well, the Morpheus was built with the camera, the PlayStation camera, and like in tandem with it. So that's going to work with that, with the head tracking and stuff. But in terms of building it in, I mean, I don't know what it takes to do that, but I imagine it's two displays like 3D, and I think almost every game that Sony puts out has 3D capability. So I'm imagining, I'm not saying it's like as Brian on Locke would say, is copy paste, but I feel like they might be working.
There's like a precedence there.
Oh yeah, there's a precedent there, and I feel like they might have similar language. You know what I mean? That they can go. The only thing is, from what I understand, Oculus, when you view it, it's vertical, not horizontal. Like,
wait, what?
The screens. Have you used the Oculus Rift?
No, I've seen what you're talking about. That they're horizontal next to each other.
The screens are vertical, not horizontal.
Really?
You know what I mean? Like the two displays, so that you can look all the way up and all the way down.
Oh, okay, okay.
So they're wide enough to give you to cover your peripheral, but they're long. They're from top to bottom longer than they are wide.
Interesting.
So I don't know how that would work with putting it in a game that wasn't designed from the ground up for that. I don't know. That's Oculus. I don't know about Morpheus. I don't know how they're doing it.
And that's the thing that makes me wonder. It's just a display thing, right? Like the world is there too. It's not like they're having to now build something that wasn't in the view before. The view is just different.
Yes.
So my last question is, does Nintendo give a shit about VR? Is Nintendo aware of VR? Let's start there.
They're aware.
I mean, they did this already, right? I can't be
the only person that would be happy running around in first person as Mario in a 3D Mushroom Kingdom
and jumping up and down,
or Mario Kart with the helmet on with the VR.
Let's rewind a bit. Let's rewind a bit. Back to
take us back, Sean. Take us back.
The Nintendo 64, when everything was going disc based. Then let's take us back to the GameCube when everything was DVD. and then we'll take us to the Wii when everything was HD. Then we'll take it to the Wii U where everything had large hard drive space and a crazy good internet infrastructure. They are VR and Nintendo are such. That is like fucking 200 years in the future Nintendo time.
Well, here's the funny thing.
It's also 15 years in the past.
I was going to say Nintendo apologists would hop on you and say like, no, they already did it. They were ahead of their time, just like the Sega Dreamcast.
They did it. They were like, you know what? This will never catch on, guys. Nobody wants to watch flat red.
The Virtual Boy, the Virtual Boy was not virtual reality. They can throw the word virtual on it any way they want. That's fucking no. And like, I don't know. Okay, and here's the funny thing. That was the last time that Nintendo truly fucking innovated besides the fucking motion controls. What the fuck have they innovated yet since?
Well, that's a bigger picture.
It's ridiculous. And it bombed. Do you think they're going to want to fucking do that again?
Did Virtual Boy come out after the effects chip?
What does that even mean?
What? They innovated with the effects chip, 3D graphics on the N6 or the Super Nintendo.
Anyways, I just wanted to throw that kind of like chuckle-inducing, wait a minute, we're talking about, Sony. We're actually not even talking about Microsoft doing VR. We're just kind of assuming that there are reports and there are leaks and there are rumors and stuff that they are working on something. And I would have to imagine that if the Illuminum thing was real, then okay, maybe they really are going to do some kind of VR headset and we're just going to see it next year. I hope they don't. I hope that Phil Spencer showed up and was like, hey, all this over here? No, we're not doing that. Fuck all that.
I hope
none of that's happening.
My theory would be that they would, I could see them more doing what they do with everything else, partnering with somebody and like Oculus and getting it to be supported on the Xbox One.
And just because Facebook bought Oculus does not mean that Xbox can't be like, yep, this is the one that we want to use. Like, we're going to use this thing. Here you go. Here's some money. Thanks. Like, I could totally see them doing that. I think they should. I think that would be the smarter play. Let these guys who have been working on this. Oh, by the way, they also have fucking super crazy mad genius working there who's really passionate about making this stuff work as good as possible. Like, have them put it all together. Totally blanked on his name. I need to eat something. I can't think.
John Carmack.
Thank you so much.
Jesus Christ,
I know, right? What the fuck is wrong with me? Anyways,
hey guys, I just saw an update. This just in.
Give it.
Ramon from Unlocked, Rated M, and all that such just posted something about the Samsung Gear VR headset. Headset has now been priced. When the early access set comes out, it's going to be $199.
Interesting. So yeah, if we're talking about VR in that price point, I think that adoption will be better than what I originally thought, but I don't think it'll be, the next Wii or anything like that. I think it'll probably. So here's my guess. Here's where we'll end up on this. And thank you, Ramon, for doing that. Appreciate the heads up. So, do you see this VR stuff selling better or worse than Kinect so far, Sean?
Okay, on consoles.
Yes, just but, yeah, no, on consoles for gaming, just for gaming reasons.
Like Xbox 360 Kinect?
Both. The whole thing so far. Come on.
Well, the Xbox 360 Kinect sold 10 million units right out of the gate. So
yeah,
that was a pretty
I was going to say, it sold pretty well.
That was a pretty successful, for all things considered, piece of hardware, which is weird that so many people are against the new Kinect. But
which is way better.
Yeah, it is much. Well, I never used the original Kinect, but I've just heard all the horror stories.
It was bad.
And I don't experience any of them.
Yeah, it's way better.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't think peripherals do that much. I just don't. Like, I'd love to be proven wrong, but I think about the Sega CD, the fucking Move, the fucking I'm sure Nintendo.
That
Nintendo
32X.
They had a Super Drive, 32X or whatever, and Nintendo had like extra things that you could plug in the controller. Like, I just don't see that stuff catching on. It just doesn't. That's a niche market, so I hope they're prepared for it to remain niche.
So,
well, they
seeing the Kinect sales to the lifespan sales of the Kinect, both the original and this one, you don't think it's going to hit that critical mass or even come close, or what?
No, the original Kinect was $120.
Yeah.
Like the new Kinect, people are crying about $150.
Yeah.
Like I don't, and I don't see Morpheus coming in at $150.
No, I don't either. I don't see it less than $200.
So that's, by the time that comes out, there will probably have been a PlayStation 4 price drop, even if it's $50. So if it's $200 for another $150, you know what I mean? Just like it's the price, almost the price of a console. So I mean, I don't know. I am cynical, but my cynicism comes from the reality. Well, it comes from the reality of everything. I pay attention. You know what I mean? Like I'm watching everything, and I don't see any peripheral that's ever been an anomaly. There seems to be a lot of hype about this in the PC world, and as popular as PC gaming is, the people who are super enthusiastic about it is still kind of niche. You know what I mean? Compared to so that are going to be into VR is what I'm talking about. So I don't see even on PC it being all that special, like in terms of sales. So I don't know. It depends on what Sony's expectations are, but for me personally, I don't see it. I don't see it selling really well. It's super cool. I used it. It's awesome. I used the Oculus Rift. It's fucking fantastic. Yeah. But not $200 to $400 fantastic for me personally.
Rory, you played with the Morpheus, didn't you?
No, I didn't. No, I haven't tried any of that.
You didn't do that demo when you were out in E3?
No, I didn't have a chance to do anything to think that. I was just going to say, though, that I'm going to agree with Sean on this as far as the numbers go. I don't see it doing Kinect numbers. It's going to be a modest success, I think, as long as Sony and Oculus even themselves, when they launch it for PC gaming, if they keep their expectations in check, I think it's going to do well for them in those small markets. I think when we're really going to see it either take off or not take off is when Facebook and such, and they really start pushing it as this huge, broader appeal item. And that's when we'll kind of see what happens. But the gaming side, I think it's going to start small. I'm into it, right? So I'm going to pick it up, but I'm also a tiny subset, as Sean says too, of the larger numbers. So I think it's going to be a modest success. I don't think it'll do Kinect numbers, and I think we'll have to wait and see until it becomes a broad appeal product again. Once Facebook's like, hey, here it is. Now it's not this gaming thing. It's do the virtual movies with your friends and go to the beach with your friend and this thing.
Here's something that I feel like should be considered too. The Kinect is something that mounts on top of your TV. This is something that mounts on your face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, a lot of people make a stink about wearing 3D glasses at home still. They'll just to watch their 3D TV.
Yo, a lot of people make a stink about wearing glasses in general. I know fucking people. I work with people that I had to physically tell them no, you can't see. You don't understand. You can't see. You need to go get glasses. You are a safety risk. And they're like,
some people aren't going to be able to even handle wearing this thing, right? We also got to think that there's going to be people that just can't handle not only just even if it's fairly light, the weight of it, but just the motion,
the weight, claustrophobia, motion sickness.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm excited about it, but who knows? I might put it on for the first time and have a heart attack. Just
and here's the sad truth.
Face and be like, I can't handle it.
Here's the sad truth. Everybody outside of the chat room or listening to this podcast are all fucking idiots, right? So on top of that, you got dumb people who are just, some idiot's gonna walk off his balcony on accident or something, someone's gonna come in and rape this person while they were fell asleep with their headset on and they didn't see or hear anything happening, or just some ridiculous shit's gonna be happening once VR starts hitting critical mass, when that does become a thing and it's bigger than games or whatever, you're gonna hear horror stories like that. And I think that'll also
I'm waiting for the VR remake of Night Trap.
Well, we already got a Night Trap Kickstarter happening, or it happened. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, the original makers of Night Trap kickstarted and successfully brought back Night Trap. Apparently, they're going to make it
Wait, it was successful?
I think that succeeded. Yeah. Now, whether or not that's actually going to be a thing, I don't know.
That has to be a VR project.
Well, it's going to be an Xbox One PS4 game. I can't even say that with a straight face. Oh God, it's going to be so bad. It'll make what was the launch game that was Loco Cycle? It'll make Loco Cycle look really good. It'll make Loco Cycle look like fucking the Half-Life 2 of VR or full motion video games.
We'll see. Maybe it'll become the next Persona.
Dude, no.
And we'll all be surprised.
There's okay. Let me here. There's 633 backers. They have 49 hours to go. They have $38,620 pledged towards their $330,000 goal.
Oh shit! No, I thought they made it.
This is not happening.
Aww.
Not even close.
Well, they got $30,000 out of some
Get
people.
over to that website.
Anyways, I wanted to wrap the show with some Destiny hype, just for hype's sake, and just for the fun of it, because this is the first like massive title of the fall. I'm also personally just super fucking stoked about it, so I'm going to talk about it whenever I get a chance to. And I really want to get like a full read on what you guys are going to do, how you're looking going into this game. And then, maybe we can recap next week. And then if you don't want to, we can just never talk about Destiny again, but good luck with that. So, Sean,
as long as it doesn't become a Destiny podcast, I'm totally fine.
It is not. I've already weighed my own personal beliefs on whether or not I should be a part of like a Destiny devoted podcast, and I'm going to leave that to the Guardian Radio guys. They got it on lock over there. If they ever need my help, I'm always a phone call away. So, Sean, all right. We've talked about our impressions with the beta and like the whole thing as a whole, but going into this launch, are you getting it at midnight? What class are you playing? And like, just from a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you about this game?
Okay, first question. I've been to exactly one midnight release in my entire life, and that was Grand Theft Auto 5. I don't do midnight releases.
Very nice.
So no. Then number 2,
what are you playing
I am
as?
Doing Warlock. That's what I like. Warlock. I played Warlocks on the beta and the alpha.
You should listen to Warlock
School. Favorite class. What's that?
You should listen to Warlock School. They don't actually talk about Warlocks that much because the game's not out yet. But
and then on a scale of 1 to 10, it's hard to separate personal stuff from reality, but because I had some stuff happen to a friend of mine back home. But I'm pretty excited about the game. Like, it kind of fell off my radar a little bit because I've been playing Diablo and I had to play First Light and stuff like that. And I think, there's a part of me that's thinking, shit, I got to go through the first whatever X amount of fucking like 6 missions before I get to the game that I don't know exists,
Yeah. Well, you played the moon, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that was the 6th mission, I believe. But I'd say I'm probably on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm probably about a 9 excited for this. Like, I'm super excited. The 10 comes from the fact that I'm probably not going to play multiplayer. So.
Okay. Well, so we played Control, and I know that you just did not have a good time with that. And was it more about the weapon balance and stuff like that, or do you not feel like, for your taste, the gameplay is too Halo-ish, I guess would be a good way to describe it for you?
That's part of it. I mean, it's a part of it. I like more of a Call of Duty, Titanfall type of gameplay.
It just doesn't translate very well for you to multiplayer?
Yeah. I'm sure if I stuck with it, it might, because I don't mind slow multiplayer. I love Rainbow Six and stuff like that, but it's just something about it. It just doesn't grab me.
Sure.
And there's also the thing that, like, I don't know how it's going to work in the multiplayer, but I was getting like one-shotted across a map by weapons that I had no access to. You know what I mean? So
I see what you're saying.
It was just like, that's the same.
But that happens in Call of Duty, doesn't it?
Well, no, I mean, it does, but the thing is, like, in Call of Duty, there's millions of other, because of all the perks and all this other stuff, there's ways around that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, if I get shot by a thing, I could throw on one of my classes with no radar and no sound, and I could sneak around and kill the guy. You know what I mean? Like, there seemed to be a lot more straight points, at least what I played. I mean, but I could give it more. It could be more open, more expansive. But I just felt like I don't know. It just wasn't my type of multiplayer. Maybe it is a little too Halo-y in terms of movement and stuff like that. I don't know. It's just something about it just didn't click with me. But that's just me. Like, I have a very specific type of multiplayer I like. And,
I'm really curious to see if your experience. I'm curious to see with everybody's experience with Advanced Warfare, if it's like transfer back to kind of help translate the way that the game would play. I obviously believe that Advanced Warfare is going to be a lot faster, just kinetically in general, than Destiny. But I wonder if a lot of the mobility and like weird things you get going in Advanced Warfare, if that would help people kind of go back and play Destiny and be like, oh, it's like this. Okay, you know what I mean? Like, I really, really got hooked into Halo 4's multiplayer after playing the Titanfall beta. It was weird. Like, after kind of getting things introduced to me about mobility and using things at certain times to get more flow going on in a match from Titanfall, I went back and played Halo 4 and I just mopped the floor with people. And I was like, whoa, okay, this is weird. So I wonder if that might transfer there. I'm not sure.
Well, by the time Call of Duty comes out, I won't be playing Destiny. So
really? Okay. All right. Well, that answers that. So, Rory, you like Destiny, right?
I did. I didn't put as much time into the beta as you guys did. I didn't even have a chance to explore all the classes properly. I played as a warlock, though. I had a good time. Loved the speeder bike thing. Sounded like Star Wars. But now I'm just ready to jump in. Like, I was excited about the game, but not to like hype levels. I wasn't kind of giddy with anticipation up until basically like 2 nights ago, when I finally was just like, okay, I'm gonna digitally pre-install this thing. And once that download started happening, it just kind of started to sink in. I'm gonna have this big, epic game to play right at midnight, PST. You know, I got some buddies lined up, and I'm excited. So that's it. Like, I'm genuinely excited. It's about a 9 for sure. I haven't been this stoked for a game for a little while, and it's funny how long it took. But just looking for a big, epic co-op game to play with some buddies. So yeah, digitally pre-installed, it's paid for, downloaded, ready to go. Midnight hits. Hopefully the servers are all working good. When that switch hits, I'm online, man. No waiting.
So what are you gonna play as?
I don't know. I'm probably going to start as a warlock because that's what I started with in what I was playing with as little as I did in the beta. Like, I got through
Warlocks
the missions
are the best,
in the beta.
so you made the right choice.
All right, well, there we go. So, like, I did all the missions in the beta, and I played just a tiny bit of multiplayer, which I also played a little bit at E3. And I enjoyed the multiplayer. I think the reality is that I'll play it on and off. I'm mostly going to probably stick with the raids and the fire team stuff. And once Master Chief comes out, that's where I'll be for all my multiplayer action.
Alrighty. Well, I will be a hunter. That golden gun, and mostly because of the knife. I'm going to do the Blade Dancer thing. The way that knife melee feels for me for some reason, and mostly in PvE, I just love sliding up on hunters and just stabbing them in the face and being like, hey, what's up, dude? Snap. I love doing range stuff, and I know that it really doesn't matter, you know, what your class is as far as what weapons you pick up and stuff, but it feels like the right class for me. And so I'll be rolling hunter. As far as, I'm going to a midnight release, but I'm not going to be playing at midnight because I'm driving down to Shenandoah Valley to hang out with my boy Alex, #NoDoors. Mike from the Rated M community is going to be joining us down there, so that'll be cool seeing him again. I haven't seen him since the Rated M meetup. Oh wait, no, he's the one that filmed me do the Ice Bucket Challenge. And then I just like glare at Rory right now, and so
I know. I was waiting for it.
So we're all going to Front Royal. We're going to this little mom and pop chain called Press Start, and they're doing this. You know, they're pulling out all the stops because the town that Alex lives in is just we could play catch around it. Like, we could play a game of catch and basically cover the whole town. It's going to be cool seeing pretty much like every nerd in a whole town at one place at once and get a chance to be like, you know, talking about a game with people in person, get excited. I've only been to a handful of midnight releases, but the ones that I have been to have never been. I feel like Destiny is more of a pure, like, if you're really excited about this game, it's because you trust in Bungie, or you have a lot of like excitement about the lore or about the gameplay, or there's a lot of like real nerdy excitement. it's less about like, oh man, I just can't wait to blast some people like Call of Duty, or oh man, it's gonna be so sick because fucking whatever, like GTA. You know what I mean? With this game, I feel like there's the excitement about it, at least from the community. It just feels like a much more pure excitement about just like a giddy.
It is. It's the Bilbo Baggins, we're going on an adventure kind of excitement.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
what I'm hyped
totally
about
the vibe that I get from the community, and that's kind of what I'm hoping to feel. You know, with all the people at the store at midnight. Alex and I are hosts of We the Gamercast for WeTheNerdy.com, where Sean and I write. And we're going to record the first half of that podcast before we go to the midnight launch, and then we're going to record the second half after. And we might even record some stuff for Rated M's YouTube there, maybe like some video stuff, if Mike wants to put something together. But we're definitely going to be trying to document that situation and that whole experience, because Alex is getting the Ghost edition, so I get to fuck around with the Ghost and take a look at that. And then I'm going to be sitting on Alex's couch watching him play Destiny. I'll probably pop on and log in and make my guy, during a break or something, and fuck around and level him a little bit. But basically all day Tuesday is going to be just hanging out, talking, playing Destiny, and then I'll be back up here in Maryland Tuesday night. So I'm stoked. I know everybody's stoked. The clan thing is weird right now because they don't have it turned on all the way until the game comes out. So if you want to join us, go to Bungie.net, search in groups for Rated M for Podcast, and then join the group. I'll approve you, and then when the game goes live, you can set us as your Xbox or PlayStation or both clan. And then we were set up as an alliance where you could have other clans join you, but we don't really have that many people right now, and maybe that'll change. But because we don't really have that many people, I just didn't feel like us being the center focus of an alliance made any sense. So I turned off the alliance thing, and I'm going to try to ally up with Guardian Radio. So that kind of gets us in the mix with, they have like 2,000 members or something in that group. So anything else anybody can think of? All right, cool.
Silence is the answer.
Silence is consent. So
wow, right. Good to know.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in live. Don't forget, you can be part of the live discussion here with us every Saturday. We won't be here, but you could be here if you want on Saturday. Every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/ratedm for podcast. If you missed the live show, you can always check us out youtube.com/ratedm for podcast. Or you can listen to us on iTunes. We got submitted to Windows Phone, so if you have one of those, you can listen to us there. I'm working on the Stitcher situation. It's stupid because I submitted Podcast Evolved to Stitcher, no problem. Did literally the exact same steps with Rated M for Podcast, changed the URL, and it says, this ain't a real podcast. And I was like, motherfucker, this is a real podcast. We have like 1,000 subscribers. Fuck off. And then we had, I don't know, an argument on Twitter or something. So we'll work on that, but Rated M for Podcast is part of the DMF Gaming Network. You can check us out right now. It's at drewfreeman.squarespace.com/aboutrated.m. I'm working on the URL. I should have it this week. I've just been pussyfooting around on whether or not I want to go with GoDaddy or who, but DMF.gaming or DMFgaming.com is going to be the new home of the DMF Gaming Network, hopefully by the end of the week. And then we can stop saying my name for the fucking URL over and over again, because that's kind of dumb. So don't forget to follow us at Rated M Podcast. And Rory, are you on that Twitter?
Yeah, you can find me on that Twitter, at Red Eye Games Live. And check out my Twitch TV channel as well at twitch.tv/Red Eye Games Live. You can find me in any of the buttons here in the chat too. I'll let you know that I'm launching a new segment tomorrow. It's tentatively titled Film and Fromage. Ooh. And me and my super cute friend Marisa, she comes on the show.
Was she on the Dead Island or Dead Rising?
The zombie one, yeah, the zombie one.
She's adorable.
What we do is live with viewers. We're going to be watching movies based off video games, commentating over the entire thing, and we review cheeses that are associated with the movie. So on Monday we're watching Super Mario Brothers the movie. We're starting it off right, and we're going to be reviewing Italian cheese and providing all kinds of cute commentary about that classic movie. So I encourage you all tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Pacific. come hang out, bring your own popcorn.
All right, Rory, I got to tell you, all right, this is the exception. You are too lazy to export your fucking videos to your YouTube channel. This has to be the exception. I want to watch this, but you stream like when I'll be
all my new streams from getting OBS will be uploaded now because our Twitch doesn't archive shit after 6 days. It just goes.
Well,
so
it doesn't
highlight them and I'll
automatically
upload
do it,
them.
but yeah. So please do that. Like, I look forward to seeing. I really want to watch that, but you'll be streaming like right when I'm standing in line to go get Destiny. So that's a no go. Sean, what are you up to, man?
Well, first I want to tell Rory that he can review any type of cheese for that movie.
Oh God, yeah.
And it will apply, especially
of course, but it's got to be themed, man. We're gonna Marisa and I are subtly gonna be wearing Mario and Luigi colors. We got to review the Italian cheese, but we watched the Super Mario movie.
Oh God,
that's racist.
Bob Hoskins rolling over in his grave.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at N2N-Other. That's the letter N, the number 2, the letter N, the word other, all together. N2N-Other. That's also my PSN and my Xbox Live name. Next week, I will have a write-up on Call of Duty Advanced Warfare because I will be playing that this week.
Oh, shit.
I will be playing that, and
that
I believe Batman Arkham Asylum. Arkham Knight. And whatever else I can get my grubby little hands on in the hour and a half we have as press.
You're going to GameStop?
Yep, I'm going to the GameStop convention.
Can we shout out who's helping us out with that?
That's our buddy Theo on Theo Hamilton on
We the Nerdy.
He's on We the Nerdy, but he was more of a news contributor there, and we're moving away from news, so he's probably more primarily at 8-Bit Chimp. He's just kind of freelancing for us.
Yeah. Thanks, Theo. That's awesome.
I guess this all came into play when he was at We the Nerdy, so
yeah.
I got my email, I got my barcode. I'm gonna go down there. We get an hour and a half of the floor. The press gets an hour and a half. I can't imagine this is going to be super covered by like all the mainstream outlets because it's pretty much everything that you saw at E3. I don't think there's anything that's going to be that wasn't at E3. But yeah, I'm going to try to play. The first thing I'm doing when I get there is I'm walking in the door and I'm going right to Call of Duty. And then after I'm done with Call of Duty, I'm going to shoot the Batman and then whatever else I can play.
Well, tell me about Batman, man. I look forward to that. Sounds like we're going to have a great What You Playing segment next week. We'll probably extend that into most of the show. Once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in live. You guys are fucking awesome. You can follow me at Drew_Freeman85. Once again, you can check us out at drewfreeman.squarespace.com/@aboutratedm. And we will see you next week.
Later.
Later.